Yo, what is happening? My name is Afton and welcome to episode 22 of the Cyber series where we are building a cyberpunk city. In today's episode, we need to prepare for the end of the series since right now, the base is at a data size 18. The maximum a base can be is 20 and we are close to ticking up to a data size 19, so we have used up about 95% of our available data size. And we gotta be careful because anything over a data size 20 won't save, and if you reach that point, you run the risk of your base completely corrupting. But that means that we really can't build any more buildings on this base because they will take up too much data size, so we are only going to be able to make small changes to the base just to be safe. But for today's mission, we need to build a time machine so that we can rescue Ducky from the last Let's Play series and bring him to this series. Supposedly he's on a different timeline, so we need to warp time somehow, but luckily I think I have a plan. First of all, we need to build a cyber cannon, and we don't have enough space or data size on my base for that, but luckily we do on Jab's base. So Jab is gonna quickly expand his land and we're going to get started on building the track for the cyber cannon to sit on. Let's begin. Alrighty guys, so we have built this runway. This is basically just gonna be a track for the machines that we're going to be building. So over here, we're going to start off by building out a fusion railgun, and it's going to point to like a portal that we're gonna build over here. So for this railgun build, we're gonna need more conveyors. So we're gonna go grab a few. So I think we're ready to start building this railgun. So I'm gonna start by building a cylinder right here. Alright, so we got that cylinder in. I'm just gonna place another one 40 studs away from this one. And there we go, we put in 2 cylinders. And we're basically just gonna be putting some glowing stuff in between here and some machinery that makes it look like it's a proper railgun. But first I'm gonna go ahead and place in a ring. So now I'm going to work on the barrel of the actual railgun, and this is going to shoot a plasma laser into a portal that we're going to build over here. And with that done, the next steps are going to require actually some sinister wood, which I don't know about you, but I don't really feel like going and searching for sinister wood because that would probably take all month. It is October, so sinister wood is spawning, but I'm just gonna buy some because we really don't have time to look for sinister wood ourselves. So I'm gonna go ahead and buy this truckload right here for 400,000 lumber bucks. We're gonna be pretty poor after this. Oh geez. I think we're fine. I think that's just lag. Okay, I'm just gonna send that over. But yeah, we have successfully bought a bunch of sinister wood. This is going to be more than enough. The lag is so bad. We've got a bunch that have fallen out. So we have to slowly but surely bring them all back. But the lag is just so bad. It is insane. We've successfully got a bunch of sinister wood. Thank you, Watermelon Cat. So now I'm gonna place down a sinister cylinder on both of these cylinders. So one on this side and one on this side. Then we're gonna go out by 8 studs and place smooth walls like this on all sides, and then I'm just gonna double layer that. And now we've got some sinister wood placed down, and that's basically the glowing parts pretty much done. We are gonna add some neon wires after, but first of all, we need to place in some conveyors to make this look like not everything is floating, and just to add some more structure to this. Of course, this is on Jab's base, so I'm not going to be able to plot shift things on his base by placing things on his base without having him toggle permissions constantly. Jab can, of course, plot shift onto my base, but he was kind of struggling a little bit to place things properly, so I just loaded in an alt account so I could plot shift the sinister structures, and that allowed me to place in a couple rings of turn conveyors on each cylinder of sinister, leaving a 1 stud gap in between the 2 rings. And once I did that, I plot shifted the innermost rings so that I could place in the switch conveyors. And for these switch conveyors, I basically placed 2 of them inside of each other, oriented in opposite directions. And that is basically just going to make it look really cool, but I basically made a box out of those glitched switch conveyors on both sides. And then for the middle section, I basically did the same thing, except I placed each of them 1 stud further inwards than the outer ones. And with everything unplot shifted, this is what that looks like. Honestly, this is looking so dope right now. I need to perfect these neon wires right here and add some to the other side, but you guys can see I've got some levers placed in there just so that I can activate all of the neon wires. But yeah, in case you guys didn't notice, I am not loaded anymore because, oh my god, it is such a pain to try building with that base loaded. It is so incredibly laggy, so I just had to stop loading it. I'll only load it if absolutely necessary while building, because it just takes so long to place anything. Now I'm going to put in some supports so that this thing is not floating. So I'm going to plot shift these turn conveyors out of the way. And then I'm going to use straight conveyors to hold everything up. So I'm just placing them against a large floor to make everything easier. And yeah, that should be that side done. I'm just gonna do the other side real quick. And with those in, the next step is actually to get an enormous amount of conveyor supports. We're gonna need 160 turn conveyor supports, so we best get to buying them. It looks like we're gonna have to buy these 1 by 1 because there's only 1 turn conveyor support here. So yeah, this is gonna take a long time. 160 is a lot. So far we've got 2. I think this is gonna be the last conveyor support that we need to buy, and oh my god, this is just ridiculous. We've got so many conveyor supports. I really hope I don't disconnect. That would be so bad right now. The exit to Wood R Us is completely blocked off. Jab's standing up there. I'm gonna turn off his collisions. Bro, wait, what? What was that? Bro just teleported outside. Bro, where's Jab? There you are. Bro is cave diving in the conveyor supports. Alright, so now it's time to get all of these packed into the trucks. So slowly but surely we're getting all of the conveyor supports over to the cyber cannon build. Alrighty, we've got all of the conveyor supports right here, so we are just about ready to begin the placement process, which is going to take quite a while. Basically, we need to place all of these turn conveyor supports inside of all of this, and in order to do that, I'm gonna have to plot shift all of this stuff out of the way. So yeah, I'm just gonna get to work. With those plot shifted out of the way, I'm going to place in the turn conveyor supports, making sure that they are centered like so. So that's one layer, and now we just gotta do 39 more layers. And hopefully, if I've done all of my math correctly, we should have the exact perfect amount of conveyor supports for this. So let's begin. Alrighty guys, I've put in all of the conveyor supports and it looks like my calculations were a little bit off. We do have some extra conveyor supports, but honestly, it is not too far off. So let me leave and rejoin so we can get everything back in place. And after rejoining, you guys can see it is looking so awesome with those conveyor supports in. It just makes it look a little bit more structurally stable. Now I'm gonna need some wall lights. So I'm just gonna grab 4 of them. So with these wall lights, I'm gonna place these right here on all sides. And that just adds a little bit more detail to that. And for the end of the barrel, I'm just going to place in some wood detectors. One right there, and then another one right here. So that is gonna be the tip of the gun. Now I'm just grabbing 4 chop saws, and I'm gonna place those inside of these turn conveyors. So I'm gonna have to plot shift a bunch of things out of the way. And with all of those out of the way, I'm just gonna place these chop saws in kind of like a swirl pattern, like so. And with that unplot shifted, it's looking pretty solid. And by the way, if you haven't noticed, Jab's been hard at work placing in a bunch of countertops and filling all of the uncovered plot. So now it's all countertops, and that is looking really, really cool. Next, we're gonna need some snow glow wood. So I'm gonna actually drop all of my axes because I really don't want to lose all my axes. I have loaded in the Cyber Series base, so I'm just gonna drop everything. I might even drop my mini axe and go pick up a silver axe. I'll get one for Jab real quick as well. And now we gotta go grab some snow glow wood. So we gotta go to the Tic Tac Warp Memorial, and I'm just gonna quickly make sure that I have my blueprints equipped just in case we flip. So let's go in backwards like so. Full speed. Oh, Jab, what are you doing? Okay. Oh boy. Oh, we just barely made it. Okay, what are you doing, Jab? Okay, Jab's gonna get some long planks, I guess. Now I just gotta wait for myself to heal, and then we can get to the next sandbar. Alright, I have successfully healed up. Now I gotta make it to the next sandbar. And there we are. Perfect. All right, we're ready. Let's get on over to here. I see it right here. And yeah, we've got the snow glow trees over here. We just gotta grab like one. We don't need a lot. Honestly, I'm feeling pretty confident that we can make it if we just drive from here with our health. Yeah, we only took 2 damage points. Alright, so let's just grab one of these trees. These trees are super soft, so I don't have to really worry about having a good axe. Alright, I'm just gonna trap this in my door, and I'm just gonna drive. That should be pretty secure. Yep. So now I think this is definitely gonna be more than enough for what we need. So I'm just gonna get this all back to the base. Alright, I've healed. Let's make it to the final sandbar, and in theory, Jab should be grabbing some long planks for us to get these up to the top of this mountain, but there is a lot of lag, so I think it's gonna take a while. But yeah, we just need to get all of these planks up to the top of that mountain, and we're going to route it over to the safari, and then we're gonna take it over the bridge, because trying to get it back any other way is gonna be quite the headache. Oh, looks like Jab is over there. Hi Jab, you got some long planks for me? Oh, it's still sawmilling. Of course, bro. Jeb went to go get long planks when I left, so it took that entire time to sawmill. and it's still sawmilling. Oh my god. Oh, I see Jab with a long plank. Only for a second though. Alright, Jab has been trying to long plank, but they just keep flinging into the water. So far he's lost 2, so we're just going to try doing the levitation glitch just like this. See if this works, because we do have a second person. Looks like I'm about to fall, and it looks like Jab also fell, but that was actually pretty promising. That was working pretty well for a second. Okay, so far so good. So far so good. It's like things are working. We just have to, oh god. We hit the wall. Oh. We made it. We got a piece up. Alright, we decided to use the jump on head glitch. Alright. Oh, we were close. Okay, I think that's honestly gonna be enough, Jab. Oh my, Jab, how'd you manage? It's literally like halfway off the rock, bro. Alright. You go get that real quick. I'm just gonna reset. Let me grab a truck so we can get all of the wood back to the base. So let's get all of this sawmilled, and then once we're done sawmilling all of this, we're gonna go quickly grab some cave crawler wood, which we're gonna have to go through the maze to get. Alright, we are almost to the tropics right now. For some reason, Hoover is like very jittery, but I guess that's probably because my base is so big. It's just causing a lot of lag. Oh, Jab is driving now. I think he's gonna get us lost 100%. He said he's winging it. This is not the right way. Not the right way. Already you failed, bro. Not the right way. Where are you taking us, Jab? Jab, why are you getting us lost? Bro. You have successfully made it to the fine arts shop. This is not our destination, bro. Oh shoot, it looks like we just found it. Alright, let's grab some cave crawler real quick. Oh god, what just happened? Looks like the fog just went away. I don't think that's supposed to happen, but it's really bright in here now. Wait, what was that? Bro, Jab, come back here. Jab, I don't have another way out. Bro! Alright, that should be probably enough. Alright, let's get out of here. Oh god, what was that? The wood just ejected from the truck somehow. What was that, bro? Yay, fresh air, finally. Alright, let's get this. Oh, is the ferries here? Okay. Alrighty, let's get this back to Jab's base. Alright, now that that's sawmilling out, I'm just gonna fill in all of these blueprints that I placed before we went. They're actually gonna be filled in with phantom wood. And now that we got this ring in, I'm going to plot shift some of the inner parts. So inside of the circle, I'm going to place in some countertops, and these are going to be filled in with cave crawler wood. And with the circle unplot shifted, I'm just going to quickly place in a little ducky to signify the purpose of this mission. So there we go, we've got the snow glow parts finished. That is looking dope. Now all we need is a beak. And of course the most orange wood that we have is sinister wood. So I'm just gonna place in a few of those. Oh yeah, it's looking dope. Now I'm just gonna add a quick little eye right here. So I'm just gonna plot shift a wire into there. That should look good once that's all unplot shifted. And oh man, that is looking awesome. We've got a little duck on the back of this cyber cannon. That is just so awesome. I love that. Now I'm just adding a ring of conveyors around this circle to add a little bit more detail, because it's looking a little bit plain on the sides. And with that in, I'm just gonna leave and rejoin. And yeah, that is looking awesome. Over here, Jab's also adding some details to these containers to make them look a little bit more detailed. So yeah, I think that is the cyber cannon actually finished. Now we gotta go build a portal over here. So for this portal, I gotta start off by building the support structure for it. And that's going to hold the whole portal up. I do need blueprints, but I don't wanna gonna load the Cyber Series base, so I've just got a different base loaded right now. So from here, I'm just gonna place 3 short smooth walls on top of each other, and then short smooth wall stubs, and then some more short smooth wall stubs on both sides, and some wedges to smooth things out. And I've just gone ahead and filled all of that in with birchwood. Next, I'm gonna place in some pressure plates, one right here, and another right here. And on top of that, I'm gonna place in some skinny smooth walls. I'm gonna round out those corners, and those are gonna be filled in with gold wood. Then I'm gonna place down 8 regular tables. I'm placing them down here so that I don't have to fill them when they're placed up there. It's just gonna save a little bit of time. Then I'm gonna place them one upside down on top of there, and then one right side up. And I'm just gonna do that 3 more times with the rest of the tables. And now on top of that, I'm gonna place in basically what we did down here with the pressure plates. Something like that. And then on top of that, I'm gonna place down a skinny smooth wall and a smooth wall stub. And then on top of those, I'm going to place in some sideways square tables. Basically how we did this part right here. I'm going to use some buttons to connect the gold part with the birch part on both sides. And then essentially, I'm just going to build the exact same thing, but mirrored on the other side. And now I'm just gonna connect the two, so I'm gonna add a skinny smooth wall along the bottom, and I'm also thinking a short smooth wall on the top, then a little piece on the bottom, and that'll be part of the hoist mechanism. And I'm also gonna add a hatch in the center on both sides. Now we've got these chop saws, and I'm going to be placing them inside of the top part. So I've got to plot shift all of this stuff out of the way. I'm going to place one right there and another against that one. And of course, I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And with those in, there's another thing I want to add, and that's going to require that I plot shift some of the chop saws. I'm basically going to place a turn conveyor up there. So I'm going to place a tile right there to make sure that things don't Z-fight. And I'm going to place one right here, plot shift that, and the other one right here. Place in 3 orange neon wires, something like that. Let's do the same thing on the other side. There we go. We've got some strips. And now I'm going to wire that up, of course, plot shifting that hatch out of the way. And that is that done. I'm just going to leave and rejoin to get everything unplot shifted. Yeah, it's looking pretty dope. Now I'm gonna need a gate. Any gate will do. And I'm gonna place that right there. And this is gonna be the hoist. So now we're going to place something down here for it to be holding. And we're gonna connect them with wires. So I'm gonna start off by placing in a cylinder, kind of like what we did with the cyber cannon. And I've just realized I built this all way too far up. So I gotta rebuild this entire cylinder like a few studs down. Dang it. Alright, so it's gotta be 7 studs off the floor. Give me a sec. Alright, I've got everything moved down. Let's start filling all this in. Now, much like what we did with the cyber cannon, we put in this kind of sinister cylinder right here. We're just gonna do the same. So I'm gonna place 2/4 wedges in a circle and then double layer that. These are all going to be cave crawler wood. And with that in, I'm going to plot shift all of those. And I'm going to use some large floors. I'm going to place them on the back of here. And I'm going to use that to place these turn conveyors against. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And after leaving and rejoining, this is the result. So we've got 2 rings. And now we just got to build a hoist mechanism from the support structure down to these 2 rings. So up here, I'm going to place some short smooth walls, making sure those are in line, and then some 1/2x1 wedges on both sides. So we've got some wires down here, and I'm basically gonna connect this gate to this little hoist structure, making sure that's as straight as possible. Then I'll place another one on the other side, and then from there I'm going to place down wires going from this structure down to the conveyor. So there's 1, there's 2, there's 3, and finally 4. And that's what that's gonna look like. That basically just supports this whole structure. And yeah, this cylinder right here is just a counterweight, because otherwise everything would look quite unbalanced. But yeah, we're basically going to be building another cylinder on the other side. It'll be slightly different, except the front will not be filled in. So yeah, I'm just gonna get to building. And now that we've got that partially complete, I've just left this front part a little bit unfinished because now I'm going to add in a ring of cave crawler wood. And with that ring in, I'm going to add yet another ring. I promise this is going to be the last ring. We're just going to place it around the middle of the blue spruce ring, and this is going to be filled in with birch. Now I'm going to add some side spikes to all of the straight sides. And now I'm going to add some cave crawler side spikes. Then I'm going to place a post on all of these sides and make them come to a point. Then I'm going to add a little diamond in the center. Hopefully you guys can start seeing the vision for the portal. It's looking pretty dope so far. Now I'm going to add some arrows on the edges of each of these spikes. And for this bottom one, I am going to have to plot shift it into the ground. Overall, I don't think it's going to be too big of an issue though. But yeah, next we're going to have to go over to the tropics. We need some logic and some paintings. So over here in the tropics, we're gonna go to Link's Logic so we can grab cyan and orange neon wires. Alright, I think this will do it. Let's get all of this into the truck and let's get to the maze. Because we're going to need a bunch of Arctic light paintings. And these are going to be 16,000 each. So quite pricey. We also, I don't know if we're going to have enough space in this truck. Because we're going to need quite a few. And these are actually the ice textures. So they are going to be sliding around in the back of the truck a lot. Alright, I think... Oh god. Immediately one falls out. Oh. We should have brought a vault truck. Alright, let's get these back to the base. And we are home. I'm also gonna grab a bunch of wall lights, and I'm gonna place those on all of the blue wood diamonds. So I'm just plot shifting some Arctic light paintings inside of the ring, and I'm also plot shifting them inside of each other so that I can get seamless borders between the paintings, because otherwise there would be gaps. While I'm at it, I'm going to add some cyan neon wires using some guide blueprints to basically make some arrows. All of those are wired up. I'm also going to add some arrows to these spikes. There we go, I've got all of those arrows in. They're very hard to see under the glow of the cave crawler, but I think once they are activated, they will be a lot easier to see. To activate them, I'm just using signal inverters that I glitched into the cave crawler. Alright, I've got everything wired up, and that is the portal done. That is looking so awesome. Now for the next step, we're gonna need some pink neon wires, which are super expensive, so we need to start selling off some of the items that we have on Jab's base. You guys can see we've got a whole item storage. And by the way, if you didn't notice, we've actually done some things to over here. There's now a glass pane here. It used to be just open with a conveyor leading out here because we were kind of planning on maybe doing some other building for storage, but we never ended up getting around to that, so we just kind of sealed off the building. But yeah, we've got so many items to sell, and so we're not gonna have to struggle to get the money for the pink neon wires. We can also probably resell this that we just bought because we don't really need any more sinister wood. So Jab has got a bunch of truckloads onto my base. We've got all of the spook wood that we found at the start of the series and a bunch of the items that we stocked up on at the start of the series. We're just gonna sell the rest of all of that. So we're also going to transfer a bunch of truckloads from the item storage over to my base, and we're gonna start up a live stream so we can sell all of these items to you guys. Dang, that live stream was pretty successful. We managed to sell all of those truckloads and made over 11 million lumber bucks. That'll certainly be enough to get the pink neon wires that we need, so let's go grab some. So we got Never Plays in here, and I think I'm going to buy just like 6 of these wires, and we also need a bowling ball, so also gonna buy that. So we're gonna do 1 million per pink neon wire, and then we're also going to do probably like 75k for the bowling ball. So I'm going to send over 6,075,000 lumber bucks. That is so much money. Yeah, I think it'll be worth it. Let's get all of these pink neons over to my base. And by the way, guys, if you haven't noticed, I am wearing some new UGCs. We've got the cyber axe on my back. We've got the cyber antlers, which are looking so awesome. And of course, we've got Cyber Ducky right here, which is looking so awesome. We just dropped some awesome cyber merch that you can get for your Roblox avatar, and we're selling the UGCs in my merch store game. Link in the description. And you guys should absolutely pick up some of this stuff to support the channel and deck out your avatar, because some of this stuff is pretty awesome. I'm so excited about these UGCs, especially Cyber Ducky. Cyber Ducky looks so dope on my avatar. You guys have to pick up Cyber Ducky for sure. I think we need Cyber Ducky and Lumber Tycoon too. What do you guys think? So I'm gonna place down a bunch of large tiles that we can place all of these wires against, and we're basically just building the laser that goes from the cyber cannon over to the portal. So we're mainly going to be using orange and cyan neon wires for this laser. And I'm also going to need a way to activate all of these neon wires. So for now, I'm going to have just a signal inverter right here. I'm going to replace that and make it hidden. But for now, I'm just going to have it visible. So from the cyber cannon, I'm just going to use orange neon wires. And then once we get to the middle, we're going to switch to cyan. I'm just going to make some cool patterns with the wires. Alrighty guys, we've got both sides kind of done. Now I'm going to start working on the pink neon wire thing. So I'm putting down some panes of glass, and these are going to be in the exact center, aligned with both machines. So I'm just creating a little glass enclosure, and inside of there we're going to be putting this bowling ball. We're gonna have a bowling ball there, and it kind of just looks like a little black hole. That glass is a lot more visible than I thought it would be, but yeah, you guys can kind of see the point. And now the plan is to place in some rings of pink neon wires around the black hole, basically. So I've gone ahead and put in some guide blueprints. Now I just gotta try my best to place in a circle around the glass. I want to make it as perfect of a circle as possible, but I'm already struggling. This is not going well. I'm gonna try putting out some guides just to help a little bit. And that went really poorly, but we've already ran out of length for this neon wire, so I think we're gonna need more than we expected. Alright, I think that's as good of circle as I'm going to be able to make, so there's one circle down that took 2 neon wires, and we're gonna need to make an outer circle that's even bigger, so this is going to probably take a lot more pink neon wires than I originally thought. The idea is that we can use these wires to power the pink neon wires, so let's see how that looks. Oh yeah. Alright, so we've got those 2 rings in. That took a total of 4 pink neon wires. So something like that. That is looking dope. So I'm gonna put the bowling ball back in the little enclosure. As long as it's inside of the glass, we'll be fine, I think. Need to keep it nice and secure. Don't want any meltdowns to happen. But yeah, so far that is looking so dope, guys. So I'm just gonna add a few more wires, and yeah, that's looking dope. Oh my god. I think we might be ready to start destroying some of these blueprints, so let's start doing that. Yeah, that is dope, guys. We've got a little black hole. It's all contained right now in that glass. So let's just tidy up a little bit. And with all of that complete, I think we are done for the episode. We made an absolutely enormous amount of progress in this episode. And in the next episode, I think we're going to be building a control panel so we can turn this on and off. And then hopefully, if everything goes to plan, we'll go to the last series and Rescue Ducky, and then we can bring him to the Cyber series, which will be awesome. Been a while since I've seen Ducky. But yeah, hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. Huge thank you to all of the channel members for making this stuff possible. If you want to support the channel, make sure you click the join button next to the subscribe button. You can get various member perks. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this episode of the Cyber series, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya!